Welcome to the IVF Abroad podcast for people who are struggling with infertility and trying to conceive and who are facing more obstacles than options when it comes to having fertility testing or treatment in their home countries. Alongside other experts, I will share, educate and empower you on your journey and help you to learn more about going abroad for advanced fertility testing and treatments like IVF and egg donation. I'm Emma Haslam, your host, now mum of one, and the go-to expert in fertility treatment abroad. Since the birth of our son in 2018, I have made it my mission to make fertility treatment more informed, transparent, accessible, supported and affordable for more people. And I help people just like you to become unstuck, to find a best fit clinic that truly meets their needs and to have fertility treatment on their terms and timescales so they can achieve their dreams of growing their families. And I'm here now to help you too. Be sure to check out the free resources in the show notes for more help after listening to today's episode. Hello and welcome to this episode with me, Emma Haslam. I've just been looking at the downloads for this podcast, and I am so grateful to all of you that have chosen to listen to me in my happy place here on this podcast. And I want to reach more of you because I want to help as many people as I can to learn more about having fertility treatment and about going abroad for it. If you have not yet rated or left me a review for the podcast, I would be so grateful if when you've listened to this episode, you just take a second to do that, because it helps me, because it helps the platforms to push the podcast out to more people so that more people can find the podcast and so that I can help more people. It's really easy to do that. And if you could do that after this episode, I'd be really grateful. So thank you. And if you've already left me a review, then thank you. I appreciate you. Today's episode is a little bit different from my usual style of content, but I like to mix things up and I like to get a sense from people, either directly from people asking me questions or from things that people say where people may need some help. And you can bet your bottom dollar that if there's one person struggling with one thing, then there will be others too. And in this episode, I'm going to chat to you about working out whether you are feeling stuck or scared. Perhaps you are unsure about going abroad because you feel stuck or scared, and what might be holding you back from going abroad, so that hopefully you can move past whatever it is that's keeping you stuck or feeling scared so that you can move forwards. I remember when my husband and I were thinking about going abroad for our fertility treatment. And this is like back in 2016. And back then, this was literally something that I didn't know anybody had done before. There certainly wasn't podcasts like mine or blogs like mine or online groups. There was literally some old threads on like Mumsnet that were out of date. I didn't know anybody who had had treatment abroad. The only things that I had seen about going abroad for anything were like negative stories in a physical newspaper. Do you remember those? About not having fertility treatment, but about things like people going to certain places, certain countries and having botched up cosmetic procedures. That was what I knew of going abroad. And it was a terrifying thought. And interestingly, my family were very against us going abroad. Adam's too. They were like, there must be another way. How do you know it's going to be safe? I mean, I'll be honest, we didn't back then. And there was definitely a consensus between the families of thinking that healthcare in other countries and fertility care in other countries could not possibly be at least as good as, if not better than, in some cases, better than here in the UK. So there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of fear around those people around Adam and I. And to be honest, we were scared, but I'll be completely honest, and I've said this before, at that point in time, we were desperate. We had explored the NHS and were told no. We had looked at private clinics here in the UK and found them to be, well, not great, expensive, a real lack of transparency, difficult to get accurate costings from, poor, average at best, maybe, customer service. And we just were not feeling it. We'd explored adoption and decided that that wasn't for us. So it was just like another line of inquiry almost for us. And when we realised that the clinic that we had found could offer us really cost-effective treatment that would stretch our budget further, that we wouldn't have to wait, and we got better vibes around things like customer service, that was enough for us. Now, really, we should have been more aware about things like safety and ethics and things like that, but you don't know what you don't know, and there was nobody educating me on this. And, I would much rather have had information around stuff like that. But because we didn't, and because we desperately wanted a baby and we knew it'd stretch our budget further, and it felt right, we went for it. And I don't expect you to do the same. You don't have to, because you've now got me as a resource to help you do that. And it's not an approach that I recommend. But I think we were probably just not stuck or scared, or so stuck perhaps with things in the UK and so scared about not being able to progress to fertility treatment that we took that leap of faith. And as I said, I don't want anyone to take a leap of faith, because you need to make sure that you are doing things safely and that you are choosing a clinic that suits your needs as well and is in the right country for your needs. But I get that a lot of people just feel so scared about the thought of going abroad for having their fertility treatment, particularly if it's something they've never done before. And even if you have done it before, you will know it's a big deal, isn't it, having fertility treatment? And while lots of people go abroad and actually find the experience better being away from home, the thought of it, the thought of leaving your own bed and your home comforts can be terrifying. Even more so if you feel like you don't know what you're doing. And if you've not done this before, you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing. Like any big thing in life that you haven't done before is scary. And so I think I just want to say to you that it's normal to feel scared. And what you can do to help move through that is to educate yourself. Listen to this podcast. If you prefer blogs, you've got my blogs as well that you can read. If you need more support, reach out. There are services that I offer that can help you with some parts or all parts of this process, so that you don't need to be scared. Because just because it feels scary doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing for you. It probably feels scary because it's new, because it's alien. It's not the same, but I always think about when you start a new job and literally it fries your brain, doesn't it? It's like your brain's having to work in a different way, perhaps, learn all of this new stuff at once. And it is like, it scrambles your head. But this is like next level, isn't it? Because this is like fertility treatment and it's different to a job. But it's normal for you to feel scared. And to some degree, there should be some element of, not fear, but some element and some part of you that rightly should be taking precautions and making informed decisions, so that you then realise that there's nothing to be scared about in terms of the abroad part, because you have researched everything properly, you've chosen the right clinic for you, or you've got help with those things. And then I think it's about accepting that having fertility treatment, if you've never had it before, is scary. The lack of control, the not knowing how things are going to pan out is terrifying. It really is terrifying. But I think sometimes just checking in with yourself and recognising, what is this fear that I'm feeling? And is it just because I haven't done this before? Is it because I haven't got the right information yet and that's what I need to gather, or we need to gather, depending on your circumstances? Is it other people influencing you who perhaps know nothing at all about going abroad and in fact are actually just giving you their perception because they literally know nothing about it? Be careful who you are listening to. And, there's so many episodes of this podcast that will really help you to answer like the questions that you have got. And as I say, if you need support, you can reach out, and I've got other free resources and services that can help you as well. So it's worth checking in to see if you are feeling scared or working out what it is that might be holding you back. It's usually fear of something you've not done before, and or people need more information first to make the right decision. The other part of this is, are you stuck? Are you listening to this and actually perhaps you are already in the system in your home country, but you're just stuck? So maybe you're stuck on a never-ending NHS waiting list, wondering if things are actually ever going to happen. And thinking to yourself, actually, maybe the next step for us isn't waiting for the NHS. Maybe the NHS isn't ever going to give us what we need. And actually we're thinking about going privately. Or are you with a clinic that you've been with and you're not getting the results? They're not really changing things. You don't feel like they're meeting your needs. You're not getting the greatest service. You're spending a fortune and you're just feeling like, what do I do next? This can be a really good time to think to yourself, right, do we need a change? And again, that can feel hard, can't it? Because sometimes in lots of ways, it just feels easier to stay with the clinic that we're with because they've got your history, which can all be passed on, by the way, to another clinic. But it can feel easy. But actually, if you're not getting anywhere, you're not satisfied, you are paying more for things than you need to, then in the end, that isn't easier. That's harder for you. And I'd encourage you to consider whether this is the point that actually is the time to make a change. And of course, you're not going to know everything that you need to know yet. How can you? But again, like with the fear, you can absolutely work through what you're scared about. You can look at whether by going abroad, that could help you to become unstuck. So much time is wasted, especially, for example, here in the UK, and people get stuck, and they get stuck sometimes for months and for years, all while feeling the pressure of the ticking clock and all while being in this awful limbo period, even privately, which is, beggars belief. And that's a horrible position for you to be in. Whereas perhaps things can move much quicker by looking at going abroad. Now, most people, when they are at the beginning of considering whether or not going abroad might be right for them, or they're at a point in time where they're considering, are we ready for a change? Is this a time to change? But we're not quite sure what to do. The first thing you want to do is you want to learn more about going abroad. So as I said, you've got this podcast, you've got my blog. But if you haven't listened to the free training that I've put together for you, then you need to grab a copy. I'll put the link in the show notes. But if you go to yourivfabroad.co.uk/free masterclass, there's a training in there that's going to tell you everything you need to know, which will help you to make your decision about whether or not it is right for you. And I also tell you about the highlights and the watch outs too. So that is a really great place to start. And I think that will answer lots of your questions along with listening to this podcast, and also help you to work out where you're at. And this episode might just inspire you to check in with yourself to see what is holding you back. Is it fear? What are you scared about? Is that fear something that's definitely true about going abroad? Can it be mitigated by getting the right information and doing things properly, in inverted commas? Do you need more information? What do you need more information on? Are you feeling stuck with your current situation or clinic? Is it time for a change? And not letting your current circumstances dictate your future choices. because going abroad can be an amazing way to get quicker fertility treatment that is cheaper and better customer service and stretch your budget much further, have more options around innovative testing and treatment and donor conception. Like, the list goes on. Yes, you've got to do things properly. Yes, you need to know what you're doing, but you can educate yourself so that you can do it. And then once you've done it, it will feel so much better. Like any big thing, once we've done something once, then you've done it and you know what you are doing. And if you need more help, go and download the masterclass. I'm going to drop the link in the show notes. And then if you would like any more help than that, then please reach out and I can help you through the different services that I offer. But don't let fear or the fear of change hold you back from something that could really, truly be life-changing for you. Until next week, bye! If you are facing more obstacles than options and want to learn more about how to overcome your fertility testing and treatment challenges in your home country so that you too can fast-track to growing your family and on your terms, then check out my free training at yourivfabroad.co.uk/free masterclass. Don't forget to rate and subscribe so you don't miss an episode and so that I can reach and help more people. Thanks for listening.